Hello, and welcome back to part 3 in the I'm not sure how many part series. First, I want to say thank you guys so much. All my new subs, all my new viewers, I appreciate y'all, and I'm just thankful and appreciative. And we're gonna jump right into summer Utah Moon Wells. That's what this is about. Above all, we are dissecting everything concerning her disappearance. So the biggest thing is we're going to keep her on the minds, in the ears, in the hearts, and on the lips, speaking about her daily until she comes home. We're not going to let her be forgotten. We're not going to allow this young lady to be swept under the rug and forgotten about. We care, and we're going to make sure that we bombard the world so that everybody's informed about this missing little girl. So if she is alive out there somewhere, she'll be seen and brought to safety. Not necessarily saying back home, because at this point I don't even want to think about that. Because where's she coming home to? Okay, we finished up talking about Don's co-worker, who he devoted the majority of his hour and 40 minutes interview about. He talked more about him and the co-worker that he got fired than he talked about his missing child. One of the things I put a pin in the last video and said we'd come back to, because I wanted to do a little research about, was the interview David Dawson had done, where we first heard about the truck being found. The other part, the second part when we heard about it, was myself and Chasing Truth heard through Miss Lane from the church that it was no longer of interest, and that it was X'd out on the flyers. And she was told that by the family, is my understanding. Not a direct quote, that's my understanding. This is direct quotes. This is not opinion. I've got it written down so I can give you timestamps and everything. David Dawson did an interview on Unmasked on July the 10th, 2021. At the 12-minute, 21-second mark, he is asked, "What can you tell," by Melissa B., "what can you tell us about this red truck that's being sought?" And he replies with, "Per Summer's parents, I have been told that," and I'm reading a direct quote from David Dawson. So when I say I, imagine Mr. Dawson speaking, okay? Y'all smart enough. I've been told a direct quote that last week, that's what I think it was, law enforcement found a pickup truck matching this description. But it wasn't, it was in a different county. And the license plates had been removed. And Summer's mom and dad actually told me that when the VIN numbers were ran on it, it came back to one of their neighbors. That's really all I know about it. Okay. Is that Don told David Dawson that a red pickup truck was found, and the VIN numbers matched it to one of their neighbors. Okay. Couple questions here. How would Don know that the dogs were gone all day from the house if he was gone from early in the morning until late in the evening at what, 6:30, after 6:30, because at 6:26 per dawn, the first 911 call came in. I'm not sure if it was from him or Candice, okay? We don't know which one called first. But 6:26 was the first 911 call. So he said it took him around 30 minutes to come home. So we've got to figure that Don made it there around 7 p.m. And he left, in his own words, before 7 a.m. that morning. So how would he know if the dogs were home or not all day? If he was going to work, as he says. Just something that makes you go, Makes me go, Because how could I tell you who's at my house and who's not if I'm 45 minutes or an hour away, as he says? Okay. Another question. And these are just observations. This is not opinion. These are like factual observations in my opinion. How about that? Bottom line, H's story and Candice's. Okay, you've got H, Candice, Summer, and Grandma Candy. Okay, that's who is supposed to be with them all day, from, as Candice stated, around 8 in the morning when she first took Grandma to the hospital till, I guess, 2:30 when they dropped Hunter off. That's who you've got, the players in the scheme. That's the only people that can tell us about the story. Grandma has took off back to where they're from to help her sister out because the husband had a heart attack. She's not able to care for him, blah, blah, blah. She's got doctor's appointments. She goes back and forth, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so bottom line is we heard H's story, we've heard Candice's story, and they differ. Okay? And it's not just a point of view difference. You know, like you got 3 people standing here watching a car accident, and they all describe it differently. That's normal because we all see life and things differently. We're different people. That being said, their stories differ greatly. It's not about point of view that they differ. It's everything. So, bottom line, either H is lying or Candice is lying. Take your pick, because neither one of them's real believable to me. I mean, the boy, something's off there, and I'm sorry. Look, I'm gonna say this. This is my personal opinion. Hello, parent opinion. Disclaimer. My opinion. If you haven't seen the Facebook messages and you have a way to go see it, you need to go and see it. If you had seen, like, H posted that he was in a relationship, and somebody else posted, with who yourself, blah, blah, blah. Him and Candace went back and forth, but they were insinuating, like, that she said something to the effect of basically, I'm trying to think of how to say it nicely, and it wasn't said nicely. This, by the way, these are not DMs. If you've ever been on Facebook, like when somebody makes a post, it's the messages down below that are public for anybody that's like a friend, or depending on what you've got the post set to. It can be public, it can be friends only, but it had to be one of those two because themselves and other people were able to see it and go on there. And this is her speaking to a 15-year-old boy, joking back and forth. There were curse words back and forth between them. She basically asked him who was in a relationship with Thumbelina and her 4 sisters type-ish. And first of all, in what world is that appropriate? For a grown mother of what? She got 4 living with her and 2 previous, or at least 1 previous, because I know she has another daughter that's also named Candice, whatever. That's strange to me, but whatever. I mean, look, I call me croquet. We hear about juniors and the thirds and whatever, but how many times do you hear 3 females in a family in a row with the same name? Mama, daughter, daughter. Like, it's a little strange. But everything about this, in my opinion, everything about this is just a little off and a little left of center and strange, okay? Like, anyways, I digress again. Either H or Candice is lying. That's bottom line in it. But the conversation was very inappropriate, very raunchy, and very risque, and that's my personal opinion. But that was one example of how they talk back and forth to each other. Now, law enforcement probably has a whole lot more because they took both their phones. And, I mean, even down to who contacted whom that day, they differ. H says she called him. She says he called her, texted her, what the heck ever. Bottom line is, she says he gave her first contact. He says she gave him first contact. They both try to play it like they haven't talked to each other in months and whatnot, and I don't believe that ish for a minute. And if y'all do, listen, I'm telling you about that land I got for sale, because it's bull. It's bull. And I really wonder, not a lot's been said. He keeps saying that he was with his girlfriend. This boy don't drive. So how did he get to the park or the ballpark or whatever it was that he was with his girlfriend at? Because his mom wasn't there. He had to call his mom to tell her what Candace had called and said around 7:30 that evening to him about Summer being missing. So how did this kid that can't drive, that lives in the country, because maybe it's different than here. Maybe they're a larger country town, because we don't have public transportation, and I've not heard any of them say they do. And from what I could see, it didn't seem that they did. Not in the rural area, maybe in the city, like we have it in our downtown area. There is a public transport. It's kind of known as the geriatric bus, for lack of a better way. But my question is, how did he get there? And if he was able to get there, could he have gotten elsewhere? Just a thought and a question. But one of them's fine, or both, really. But if they're trying to lie because they did something wrong together, they should have told the same lie. They don't seem very smart. And maybe that's why Don thinks he's so smart. But anyway, okay. And then I must say this. There was an article, and I want to say that it was by a news agency and not by just a YouTube creator. But there was an article speaking about, in an interview done with H's dad, where the guy's talking that H's dad had hired to bring him back because he's supposed to have like summertime, visits with him and whatnot. And from what the hired individual, that I'd say the hired escort, that sounds kind of cray-cray, but anyway, the man that was hired to retrieve Hunter and bring him back to his dad in New York for his visitation that he normally has, was told by the head person at the county sheriff's that's handling this, that H isn't leaving. There's an ongoing investigation, and nobody involved is taking anybody anywhere. Period. He wasn't allowed to leave, but Grandma Candy was. What's up with that? Did Grandma Candy make statements that nobody knows about? Did she talk to law enforcement and tell something that none of us know? It's very possible. Very possible. But there had to be some. I mean, for all we know, there could be an FBI agent out there right now on Grandma Candy's trail. We don't know. But anyway, on with the story. Couple other things that bother me. And if any of you guys, please inform me, because knowledge is power, and I want to learn. So please, if you know the answer to any of these questions, I want you to comment. I'm already just like overwhelmed with the outpouring of enthusiasm and love and understanding that I've received from the YouTube community. I think all you ladies that are out there that, like me, are survivors. Survivors of cancer, survivors of DV, survivors of SA, survivors of life. I thank each and every one of you, because you ladies have made me feel welcome and at home. Sorry to have that little moment. Let's get back to summer, okay? Sorry, I really am sorry, guys, but my heart is so full right now. And you ladies have made me so thankful. And there's so many of you to shout out, and I want to say each and every one of y'all's names, but that would be a 5-part series in its own. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is totally meant. I appreciate each and every one of you individually, and I want you to know that. Like I said, a couple questions that I really want to know the answers to, because some of them have really bothered me throughout this entire thing, and it's observations. And then I've got to pause for a moment. Okay, sorry. Intermittent break over. Got myself back together. Alright. Something that before I even heard about any SA or any of that stuff that was on my mind as a mother, questioning stuff, is that struck me as really odd, especially when I was watching the videos of Summer at church. Why was this little girl wearing some cute little dresses, but always having leggings or jeans on underneath? Like, why? I mean, the weather was hot. You know, if it's weather like we've been having, their weather's hot. And, you know, these videos, of course, could have been from wintertime, and I'm reading into it more. But I'm just wondering why. I mean, I was a tomboy growing up. Don't get it twisted. You know, I had these frilly little dresses on with all this lace all over them that I absolutely hated going to church. And they made me wear they like leggings, but they white with the little lace bottoms and all that crap, because I climbed trees. Yes, I did, in my dress after church, sure enough. That being said, why was this little girl always wearing pants under her dresses? It just was odd to me. So if anybody knows a valid reason that's been given or addressed, I'd like to know. It's just something I wonder. Another thing, it was stated more than once that by family members and friends that Candice did not want any daughters. She didn't want any female children. She'd already had a daughter. I don't know if that plays a part in it or not. I don't know if it goes back to her sister being missing, you know, psychologically something. But she didn't want any daughters. When she found out she was pregnant with Summer, she had made arrangements for her mother to adopt Summer. And I do think that's important, especially since Grandma took off like she did. Okay. And with the Grandma taking off, it could have also been overwhelming to her, guys, emotionally, because she had already lost a daughter in a similar type fashion, and this probably brought it all back up, you know, just thinking logically. But why did Candace not want to have a child? And when she found out she was pregnant with a daughter, why did she want to have that daughter adopted out? Now I'm gonna give you my opinion, just straight up, like I do. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is my personal opinion. I think she knew Don's tendencies for SA. I think she did. I think she knew that he had a thing for little girls. I do. And I think she didn't want to have one because she didn't want one in-house. She didn't want an in-house treat for him. And maybe it was about jealousy on her part too, to a point. But I've got another question, observation, that I want to know, you know, I want to ask you guys your thoughts, you know, if I'm going the wrong way with this, or, you know, if I'm being too, not naive, too, I guess, judgmental or judgy or whatever. But, it goes back, I made a note to myself, and I'm going to read you exactly what I wrote to remind myself about this. Why does it seem in the few months leading up to Summer's disappearance that Candice actively made herself, based on previous pictures that I've seen of her, why does it seem like that she made herself look more and more like a man each day? She shaved her head off. She's wearing a ball cap. She's wearing these tank tops, shorts that look like a dude. And in the previous pictures, she had her hair different colors. She had it styled up, down, a little bit of makeup on. Even a dress and a hat. Of course, it was marked as a wedding day picture. But, it just seems like, to me, looking back in time through her pictures, that for some reason this lady was trying to make herself look as unattractive as possible to her husband. I don't know how else to put it. Like, he didn't like boys, he liked girls. So why was she trying to look more like a boy and actively trying to make Summer look more like one? Because, and I think I've already discussed this previously, but I'm bringing it up again at this point, because they can't even agree on why Summer's head got shaved. And I mean, I know there's stories about lice and whatever, but the lice story doesn't go along with, I'm saying, if you go back and you look at pictures of this woman, look at her TikTok videos, look at her Facebook pictures, just look at it. In like the past 6-7 months, she's made herself actively look less and less attractive to someone who looks at a female and is attracted. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if she wanted to be, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe she didn't want Dawn to be attracted to her because she had somebody else she wanted. But my question is why? And Gary went over that. Okay, another observation. When Chris and Candice pulls up for Candice's interview, the little tool shed, the door's wide open to it. When Chris comes out that bottom door to come around and ask about going in the shed, the door is closed. Check the video. You'll see what I mean. And I wouldn't think nothing about it except for the big deal she made. That's why we're all wondering about it. What was in that shed? Or who was in that shed? Was H there visiting? Was Dawn on premises? Something was up. Either there's something inside of there that she didn't want seen at that time, or someone. I mean, that's the only conclusion that makes any sense, people. And I'm sorry, but I'm through coddling people. It is what it is. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a freaking duck. It's not a guinea, it's not a dog, it's a duck. Something was up. We are not stupid. Stop playing with our emotions. Stop playing us stupid. We are not ignorant, stupid people. And we don't for an instant believe, what do we care that you told your kids that it was dangerous and don't want them in there? We're not your child. Chris is not your child. He's a grown-ass man. At what point do we stop placating these people and their cosigners and supporters that refuse to see the truth? Also, and it may have just been safety purposes and whatever, but Chris said he was filming with his phone and the little camera. So I'm assuming there wasn't a cameraman there, because he said he himself was filming. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. We don't know who else was there. But what I do know is not only was the shed door open and then closed, but there's a canoe type boat, Johnny boat, whatever you call it, right outside that door. When they first filmed that area, That boat is laying down on the ground. When Chris comes out that door to walk around towards that shed, that boat is up and down and leaned against the wall. Somebody was moving things. And nothing was ever said about it. It was never mentioned. Why? And that's questions I had. Now I want to go. I want to go over a list I've made because okay, on with my thoughts. Let me finish that list right quick. My thoughts at this point, not on what I think happened, just observation thoughts. Number one, truth is the truth is the truth. When you're telling the truth don't damn well change, okay? It's going to sound like you're repeating something that is a written statement almost. Not necessarily emotionless, but you're going to repeat it, and you're going to repeat it just like that. You don't got to think about it. It's the same every freaking time you're answered. You don't and stumble over it. You answer it. It's not hard, Don. When you're telling the truth, you're not going to keep adding all this extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to keep adding these little extra unnecessary details. You may keep remembering stuff, but you're not going to add the unnecessary details, about ish we don't care about. And that's not important and pertinent. But that you think is important and pertinent, because by telling us that, we'll believe what the heck you're telling us. We're not buying it, Don. We're not buying the swampland in Florida. Stop trying to sell it to us, okay? Find something else. Go buy a box of candy and sell it. Because we're not buying the swampland in Florida. The stuff you're putting out there, we're not picking it up. I don't know how else to put it to you. We're not that easily manipulated. Not around here. Okay, no convicted felon who served time in prison is this ignorant of the law enforcement process. It's just not done. I know I've said it before, but I think it bears repeating. Okay, now I'm gonna find my notes because I want to make sure that I'm able to tell you everything that I wrote down, because here's my question to you guys, and it's probably near the end of my video because I'm running out of time again and we'll put up the next part, and I apologize, but I don't have a way around it. It is what it is. Why does it seem like during this interview that Don did with Candice and subsequent interviews Don has done, the one behind the wall, that was really hard for me to watch? I'm just going to be real with you because I want to start cussing at everybody. Like, how can you women be so stupid? Don ain't even cute. He don't even look like he bathes on a regular basis. I could fry egg with the grease in his hair unless he's using Dapper Dan. And if y'all don't know, that's a reference to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? RUNNOFT. But anyway, I just don't understand the fascination with these people and Don. I'm sorry. Like, one YouTuber that I aspired to be like and I looked up to was sitting there just cheesing like she met LL Cool J or something and he gave her $1 million. I don't understand it. I don't. The man is not attractive at all to me. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm wrong, please correct me, but in my opinion he's not cute at all. Like, there's not a cute bone in his body. Anyway, why does it seem like he's throwing Candice under the bus? And does Candice even realize it? Or is somebody else going to have to tell her? Is Don going to have to tell her he's throwing her under the bus for her to recognize it and accept it? But he was. And I'm going to give you points that he did. He says that their blood was taken by law enforcement when, I guess, on the day Summer came up missing. That he tested 150% clean. Don was perfectly clean. Go Don. That Candice was dirty for marijuana. Okay, that's the first part where he throws her under the bus. I didn't think much of it in that part, but then when he kept on, makes you wonder. Poor Candice, you got set up, honey. I'm trying to tell you. You better get your own lawyer. Get a lawyer just for Candice. If you're watching, Candice, somebody that gives a crap about her, tell her she needs to go get an attorney. Not one that Don okays, but one for her only. Because then he also says that he's clean. He's quit drinking and all that. Conveniently forgetting that he said he went off the rails and that's why the boys got took and got drunk. And that he's the one that got drunk back in October 2020 and had a gun and got the cops called. And where he says that